The flat earth stuff was extremely painful. I never wanted to be associated with it. I thought that they were crazy, but I could not prove the earth was a globe. In fact, I couldn't even find a single thing that would even imply it was. And that was a fairly dark period in my life, but I'm glad that I went through it because I have very little fear. I think you have a lot more fear and anxiety if you think you're on a teacup ride at a circus versus standing on solid ground. And it's funny, like people get so angry. Like this one dude was like, "Oh, you fucking idiot. Then if you spit on an airplane, it like your spit goes 40 miles an hour." But I'm like, yeah, you just admitted my point. An airplane is a closed system. Closed. There's pressurized, closed system. You just admitted there's a firmament. How dare you? Gravity. Yeah, and then you find out what gravity actually is and isn't. How it's like the weakest force, and it's a theory, but they can't show why or how, or it's not consistent at all. It's really, really weird when you start getting into theoretical science. It's like little kids saying stories. It's very similar to when my sons talk about dragons and shit. I'll ask them a question and they'll like stop, like how can a dragon breathe fire and ice at the same time when the ice melt? And they'll like stop and then they'll come up with a reason. It's no difference in science. Like dark matter was because it's obvious that the universe isn't expanding the way they said. And it isn't because of gravity, because none of the equations line up. So what did they say? They said, well, there's 90% more matter in the universe than we knew. You can't see it, touch it, or measure it, but it's there. It's called dark energy and dark matter. And everyone's like, how do you know that? They're like, because if it wasn't there, we'd be wrong. And we know we're not wrong. That's the one thing we know, is that our theories, our story is not wrong. So there must be, the majority of the universe must be matter that you can't measure at all. And then another thing they say is they go, well, the earth must be a sphere because you look up and you see Jupiter and Saturn, all these things. These are people that have never looked through a telescope. It's wild. I do have compassion for them, I swear to God, because it's so scary at first. You're like, dude, just look up there. You'll see that they have their own moons and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, have you ever looked through a telescope? Or, do you even listen to the people who spend thousands of hours looking through telescopes like Crow 777? Why do you think they're all flat earthers? Or realm earthers. They wouldn't call themselves flat earthers. I don't technically either because I don't know what it is. But it's not solid planets. They're like pulsing lights. And it's like, when they're like, oh, but you can clearly see, it actually resembles more like a light in water than it does a solid planet. And these people have never, ever, ever, ever looked through a telescope. And they're like, but look at the Hubble images and all that. I'm like, read the fine print. Those are CGI creations. That isn't what they're taking pictures of. Oh, how dare you? It's like, okay, man, I get it. I've been there. Exactly. That's why I bought a scope. Get a P900 camera, go to a ocean, watch a ship go over the curve, and then zoom in. It didn't go over a curve. There isn't a curve. How? Oh, well, the light just bends around the curve. Okay, do you have any evidence that the light is bending around the curve? Or is that just what it has to be for your story to work? Planets made of gas is a gas. It just, none of it is real. You cannot witness anything about these planets through a telescope that you see in NASA photos. Like you have this crazy looking hexagon or whatever on Saturn and all that. None of that is real. None of that is in telescopes. That's all just fake. If you look at images of Pluto from NASA, it's literally the cartoon of Pluto is in the planet. It's a joke. Yeah, Uranus is a gas giant. It's comical, and and then it's supposed to make you feel really humiliated because you believed it. And a lot of truthers won't go that far. They'll say like refraction says the global. Well, there's no evidence for it at all. Like on certain days you can see across Lake Michigan, or on Oswego you could see Canada on certain very, very, very clear days. And they're like, how could that be on an 8 inches per mile curve? And they're like, oh, well, the light bends. So then why doesn't the light bend for 100 million light years? And like, what are you fucking talking about? And they're like, oh, how dare you? And it's just like, okay. And that's in the anger at these questions. When you say, okay, here's a bridge that's a mile long and there's no factoring in of the curve at all. It has to be so precise that they're looking at millimeters, you know, or else the whole thing falls down. Why did they not factor in the curve? And they're like, how come every plane, it says that it's all based on a non-moving flat plane, all the instruments? And they're like, wow, you know, everything moves at the same time. Okay, so then you just admitted we're in a closed system. Because no matter any of your gravitational equations, if the Earth is spinning, there would be a viscosity equation of how fast the fluid around it would be spinning. And it would not be the same as the land. Fact. It would be a fraction of it. If you spin a solid with fluid around it and no hard, fast barrier, and you're right next to an infinite vacuum, that doesn't make any sense. That's like talking to a little kid about his favorite dragon. And you're like, and they're like, oh, no, but everyone's proved it. You're like, you prove it. You look through a telescope. You look through a P900 camera. And that's the beauty of this life. Is I felt like I graduated. The question of like, how long have I been a truther? I felt I really graduated the day I said, if I can't see it or prove it to myself, I'm not just going to blindly believe it. And I have a right to feel that way. I have a right to say, I get to teach my own children. I get to come up with my own ideas of how the world works. And if you don't do a good enough job selling me of what you believe the world is, I don't have to buy it. It's almost like spiritual and mental communism, where it's like, you have to buy this item from the centralized control grid. It's like, no, free market. You didn't sell me. You didn't sell me that we're spinning on a ball. And a lot of people have not done the work to look into it. I was miserable when I couldn't prove the globe. I wanted to, like, I saw flat earthers the way I currently see the all birds are fake people. I thought that they were making us all look bad. I thought it was like a weird psyop so that you couldn't question banking or 9/11 without being lumped in with people who are so scientifically illiterate that they think we're standing on a flat plane. I hated them. Like right now, there's people that say that every bird is a surveillance object. That's retarded. I raised birds. All right. And so it's the same type. Like I was like, I am going to debate Eric Dubay. By the way, I don't like Eric Dubay and I don't respect Eric Dubay to this day because how he handled himself. But I'm like, I'm going to debate him and I'm going to make him look like a fucking idiot. And want to know one reason why I bat 1,000 and why I don't fail is because I don't take part in war that I'm not going to win. I'm very Sun Tzu. And so the more I did research on the globe to beat the shit out of this, you know, Eric Dubay character, the more I saw there is no evidence that we're standing on a spinning globe. None. I went to scientists, physicists, engineers, airplane pilots, everybody. And I'm like, there has to be something. And not only was there nothing, it was always the opposite. And so that's it. How did they get cameras into your chickens? Right. I viewed the flat earthers, and it wasn't that long ago. This is maybe 3-4 years ago. I viewed flat earthers that negatively. And I don't feel any shame about it at all because I was honest about it. That's how I viewed it. You know, and I changed my mind. I think a lot of them do act crazy, and a lot of them do I think some of them are shills. They're supposed to make it sound ridiculous. But I thought the whole flat earth thing was a big troll. Me too. I thought it was a way to discredit people like me from talking about things that had to be talked about. Where people could see that the buildings wouldn't fall that way on 9/11. But if I'm lumped in with people that don't know that the globe had been proven 1,000 times, I would look stupid and foolish. And that was the purpose of flat earth. Nope. That's not it at all. I think, in fact, the Flat Earth Society and all this stuff is to discredit actual flat earthers that are talking about the fact there is no provable evidence at all that we're on a spinning ball. And there's a bigger, it's not about being a flat earther. It's not about being a flat earther. All right. I'm not here to tell everyone to be a flat earther, tell everyone to be a Christian or anything like that. The thing that I am saying though, and I'm making a claim and I am stating this, is we have a right to our own worldviews. That if someone doesn't sell you, you don't have to believe it.